And if you don't know, now you know, you know, you know. And if you don't know, now you know.
All right, good morning. Everybody hear me? Yeah. Thank you guys for waking up this morning and being here, being present. I want to start off by just first taking a moment, and I just want to thank the Lord God for this morning, for this day, for the breath in my lungs, for the wisdom in my mind, and for the opportunity to be a vessel and a conduit for His goodness and His glory. I pray this in Jesus' name, that everyone here receive what you're supposed to receive and you be transformed in the way you're supposed to be transformed. Amen. So first, I just want to say thank you to Chris and to Hannah for inviting me to speak, to be a part of this amazing event. I met Chris through Mr. Denzel Rodriguez, who introduced me to him about 3.5 more, maybe 4 years ago. A little background about me: for about 15 years, I've been in the business finance space. I'm a consultant, coach, and a business finance broker. And we're going to talk more about that. I got into life insurance because one of my clients, they were closing an SBA loan, and the bank required that they get a life insurance policy to collateralize the loan. So I didn't know what I was doing. I said, oh, well, you know what? I'm not going to lose out on that commission. Got the license and started, servicing my clients in that way. I had no idea what I was in for, because as soon as I got the license, of course, I started getting approached by every 3-letter word that, could recruit somebody on the planet was recruiting me. So I sat in those offices for months, maybe about a year, and I did nothing. Something was off. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I got to the point where I was just like, well, you know what? I'm just going to give up on this thing, because circle back. So one of those people gave me this book called Become Your Own Banker. You guys might have heard of it. R. Nelson Nash, right? So I'm reading this book, and it's talking about this strategy, and I'm like, this is an amazing strategy. I want to teach this to my clients. And at the same time, I met Denzel, and he taught me another strategy about debt elimination, which I'm not going to, step on his toes. He's going to teach you guys some really cool things later. And I'm trying to put this together, and I can't figure it out, because everyone I'm talking to is talking about a different product, a different thing. And I'm like, hey, look, the book doesn't say that. What are you guys talking about? I got so frustrated, I was about to give up. I get on a call with Chris. Chris tells me about this challenge. You guys might have heard about it, right? IUL challenge. And so I get the guy on the phone, and he brings his Southeastern vice president of the insurance carrier on the call. I bring this call together. It's me, it's Denzel, it's Chris, the guy that was my mentor, and the guy that wasn't invited on the call, because hopefully we were all hoping and planning that we were going to see a policy that had been in existence for 10 years, an IUL, right? And that was in force, looking the same or as better, right? That's the challenge. And it's a $10,000 reward. And guess what? We were all excited. This guy gets on the call, and for about 15 minutes, he goes on about his theories, his opinion. Finally, Chris says, hey, respect, but the purpose of this is to, show. Can you present it? And all of a sudden, the guy turns into a monster. He starts cursing, and he literally hangs up the phone, tells us he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, right? I put this thing together, and in my mind, I'm like, forget it. This is a waste of time, So then after the call, Chris and I kept talking, and I was like, hey man, I don't know anything, but I want to do, is there an opportunity? Can I, is there a way, can I join your company, your team? And Chris is like, well, we don't really have, much to offer at the time. It was about 3 years ago, before all of this, right? And so I said, yeah, look, just, plug me in. Just show me the way. I want to learn. And he introduced me to, the right people, the right information that I needed. But guys, what we have here now today is light years from what existed 3 years ago. And what's coming, for those of you who have seen a sneak peek, and if not, it's amazing. It's so exciting. We're at the beginning of something amazing, something big, something that is going to literally change the world, change the landscape. We're going to shake up this industry. We're going to shake up the world. We're going to transform, and we all have an opportunity to be a part of it from the very beginning. So I applaud everybody for being here today, for being a part of this, for having the vision to see this, because we're actually a very small few, a minority. Most people are just looking for one thing and one thing only, and that's that financial reward. But everybody here, everybody I've talked to is looking for more. They're looking to add value to people's lives. They're looking for meaning. So that's a little bit my background, how I got into Life 180. So now, if you guys don't know, my faith is I am a kingdom citizen, all right? And so what that means is I love Jesus, all right? So I said, Chris, I've been in the business space for about 15 years, and I've always separated my faith from my business, and I was always told I should do that. But I've decided that if I want to do this business, I want to get into life insurance, and I want to start teaching people, the right way to be good stewards and to manage their wealth and to leverage debt, that I don't want to do it that way anymore. I want to lead with kingdom. I want to lead with my faith. Is that okay? Yeah. And Chris said yes. He said, yeah. We said, Sebastien, you got the stage. Speak your heart, speak your truth. And I was still shy. I went to 2 experiences at Zaria. And if you haven't been to Zaria yet, you gotta go, okay? What you're experiencing here started in Zaria, guys, okay? It started there in a very hot, very tropical, very beautiful place that if you go, it'll stamp your heart. You'll never forget it, and you always want to go back. And when you go back, it feels like you're going back home. So here I am. I started the Kingdom Finance team about a year ago, which is my team within the Life 180 community. Some of my team members are here today. Would you please stand up? Those of you who are part of the Kingdom Finance team. They're coming from all over the place. We have people coming from Texas, people coming from Florida, people coming from California. We have about 50 agents that we've so far started to mentor on the team. We get a little water, guys, sorry. And like anything else, you're going to have fall off. So you have 50 agents that you're talking to and mentoring, teaching, coaching. And right now active, maybe about 25 who are really running hard, who are really going after it, right? And these guys are the ones who showed up here today. All right, so if anyone who's watching this later, make sure next year when this event happens, you come, because you've missed out a lot. And you're not going to be able to get it the same on the replay. But if you're here, you all know what we've experienced so far, the transformation, the growth, right? And that's what I've experienced. For the last 2 years, I've gone through a lot. In November of 2023, well, first I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. Those 2 women were my heart and my soul. And November 2023, I lost grandma. She lived a long life. She's the one who taught me about God. She's the one who, took us to church every Sunday, kicking and screaming, and then would slap us on the back of the head after church because, we were messing around and not listening. Mom worked so hard. She worked so much that all I remember is just maybe dinner times and like once in a while on the weekend. But the love that my mother and my grandmother gave me was something that was beyond comprehension. So when my grandma died, Mom basically had a stroke. And it was literally the week before my grandma died. And So mom's now in the hospital recovering from the stroke, and she comes home to an empty house because she took care of my grandmother for 15 years. So for her, it was very tragic. It was heartbreaking for her. Not only now is she trying to recover from a stroke, but she's recovering from a broken heart because her mother's gone. Little did we know that my mother had pancreatic cancer. Stage 4, and we didn't know. The medical system, she got swept under the rug. We all heard about it yesterday. And within a couple of months, she was unable to take care of herself. She had to move in with me, and I became her caretaker. Living benefits, guys, are one of the most valuable, important parts of the services that we provide that people don't know about. Because if we would have had that available to our family, it would have changed the last year of her life. I could have had nurses coming and living with us, staying with us, helping us to care for mom. But instead, I was the caretaker. Now, I have a wife, Jessica. I have a 13-year-old daughter, Alana, and a 7-year-old son. And I also have a 27-year-old daughter who I met when she was 4 years old. And it was very hard to be a caretaker with a family and a wife and a business. And it ate me, it tore me down. It took everything out of me. I'd watched my mom just slowly die. And I didn't know why. We didn't have a diagnosis. We didn't know what was wrong. I helped her eliminate diabetes, stage 2 diabetes, because I was a general. She hated me. She was so angry because I forced her to eat properly. I forced her to get up and move. And, she was just so upset with me because she wanted to, just not do the right thing. The doctor was like, "You're a miracle worker because she doesn't have diabetes anymore." I'm like, "Yeah." And then we get the diagnosis 2 weeks later that she has cancer, and then a month later, my mom was gone. So that was 2024, April 2024. Guys, the what we provide here, the death benefit, the living benefits, the financial stewardship, these are things that I wasn't taught growing up. These are things that I have chosen that I am going to change for my family and for my children and my children's children. And so I had to start here because, I'm going to talk to you guys about business credit and funding. I'm going to download as much data as I have for you guys. I'm going to give you guys as much access to my information so that you can, empower yourselves and your businesses to establish the tools you need to grow, and so that you can offer it to your clients as well. But I wanted you guys to know who I am and what I'm about. So the name The Approved Guy was given to me by one of my associates. My younger brother started a company called Orange Fi about 15 years ago, and I jumped on that company as an associate, and left a very strong job as a manager for a marketing and software company, where I had a really good base pay and bonuses and commissions, and everything was great. But my wife was 3 months pregnant, and I had to make a decision. Am I going to stay here in this job, or am I going to step out on faith and do something that maybe is going to change my life, where I could be an entrepreneur, business owner? Because I wasn't fulfilled in the job. I had hit like a ceiling, a roof, right? So I took the risk. I took out the leap of faith, and I jumped out, my wife 3 months pregnant, into an environment where everything is commissioned. There's no base pay. There's no, backup plan. It's do or die, right? And back then, this was about, 17 years now, I didn't have any of this white hair on my face. That happened as a result of, being a business owner, an entrepreneur. The grass is greener on the other side, but to get there, you got to mow the lawn, which means that it takes work, and it's not easy. It's hard. It's one of the hardest things that I've ever done and that you will ever do, is to not just do it, not just to take the step of faith to start the business, but to see it through when you don't know how you're going to pay the bills, when you have children and a wife and people that are relying on you. And I went through a stage where when grandma and mom was going through what they were going through, where I got really, really angry at God because I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills, and I didn't know what I was going to do about anything anymore. I got really angry. And I always talked about saying, I would always say, I believe in God, I trust, that He's in control, and you say these things. And you say like, He's going to take care of you and that. But I would say these things, but yet I carried it all on my shoulders, right? And it was so heavy. And finally, with all the weight of everything, I was so angry one morning at church. My pastor's talking about, everybody's going to give to help somebody in the church who's going through struggle, who's struggling with finances. And my church has a lot of younger, like college students, right? And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my God, I have to ask for help. And God, you know my heart. You know that I'm the one that wants to give. Why am I going through this? And I was so fed up and frustrated. I'm a leader at my church, and I was supposed to lead the team that morning, and I was like, I'm out of here. I got to go. So even in that moment of anger and despair, God had it all worked out, because I'm walking out, I'm like, I got to go, I got to leave. And this young girl walks in that's on my team, and she's like, I'm here to serve. And I'm like, oh, awesome, great. Take my spot, because she wasn't scheduled. And I'm out of here. See ya, right? So I'm on my way out, and I literally hear God tell me, hey, look, just go talk to me inside of the auditorium, the sanctuary. So I'm like, why? Why do I have to go over there? Can't you just talk to me right here? Like, aren't you everywhere? Aren't you omnipotent? Right? And he's like, just go over there. So I'm like, fine. So I walk over to the thing. I'm angry. I'm just like, ugh. I walk into the room, and as soon as I walk in, the lights are dim low. The music is soft. The ambience is just like peaceful. Nobody's in the room. I literally walk into the room. As I pass the threshold of the door, I literally see my life flash in front of me, and I remember all of the good things that God has done for me. I remember when I was, younger in high school and college, somehow waking up in my car in the morning after partying at South Beach all night, and I have no memory of how I got home. I'm not condoning that lifestyle, but I'm just saying, how did I get home? God, you carried me, you protected me, you got me there. I remember the times where I didn't know how I was going to come up with the money to pay the bills, and God provided. I remember when I messed up, I could have gotten in big trouble, and God protected me. And all of this happened in like a moment. It was just like, one moment I'm angry, and the next moment I'm down on my knees and I'm bawling, and I'm like, God, forgive me. And I'm reaching out to Him, and I'm crying, and I'm saying, Lord, I don't ever want to feel this way again and not know that you're there and not know that I'm connected to you. I don't ever want to feel or have this despair. It was the first time in my life that I knew what it meant when it says to fear God. It's not to fear God because He's going to strike you down. But if He's not in your heart, if He's not in your life, I promise you, I don't care what your faith and your belief system is. If you get to a point where you feel and you sense that God is not connected to you and you have that reality, it will tear you apart. Because He's what's holding us all together. Every molecule in our body, every breath that we have is coming from Him. So I'm there bawling, I'm crying like snot nose, right? And my pastor, I just look up, he's right there in front of me, and I'm just like, how did he get here? Like, where'd he come from? And he's just like, what's wrong, Seb? And I'm like, man, my faith, Pastor. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. So he just starts praying over me, and he takes me to the side, and after about 5 minutes, I had a sense of peace come over me, and I was like, all right, I'm okay. After that experience is where I actually learned to trust God. Because I was talking about it for my whole life, but I didn't actually truly, I can't even say believe it, experience it. There's a difference between believing, there's a difference between saying, and then there's experiencing. And it only happens on the journey while you're doing it, while you're going through the process, while you're doing the work that we've been doing here this weekend. This is what transforms you into who you're supposed to be. It's the process. Embrace it. Embrace that pain, because it's what transforms you and it elevates you into who you're supposed to be. And if you asked me back then, like, hey, are you willing to go through that? I would have said no. But looking back, I'm grateful. I'm thankful for the good and for the bad. I'm grateful for the good and for the bad, because all of these things are the accumulation of who I am. It's the accumulation of who you are. The people we meet, the experiences we have. So I was given the name The Approved Guy by one of my associates because I close a lot of loans. So he's like, oh, you're the approved guy. And I was like, yeah. So I looked up the name. No one had it on YouTube. And I'm like, that's me. I'm going to be the approved guy, right? And I just did it at first for financing, for fun. And then in my Bible study, I realized, wait a minute. God is telling you that you are approved. I don't have a degree in finance. I don't have 100,000 subscribers. But what I do have is faith and belief that my God is the King of the universe, and in Him I can do anything. So one day I'm studying, I'm trying to figure out, because I was going to do a talking event about 2 years ago. And I'm like, God, what's the message? What do I need to really convey? I'm going to talk about business credit and funding and all that cool stuff, but what is it that you want me to convey? So if you look at the name, The Approved Guy, 3 letters, T-A-G, tag, right? So I'm thinking. My daughter runs in the room and she's like, Dad, tag, you're it! And I'm like, babe, it's not time to play. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. You're it. So I want you guys, everybody, turn to the person next to you and just touch them and just say, hey, tag, you're it. You're it. You are the solution to the problem in your family, to the problems in your community, to the problems in the world. You are it. It's you. Everything that is done on earth is done through us. We are the vessels that God uses. We are the conduits that God uses to touch other people and to transform the world around us. It's up to us. If we keep our mouths shut, the enemy wins. And we are complicit. It's our responsibility to get out of our comfort zone, get out of ourselves, get out of our heads, and get on stage and do something that you've never done before. Or talk to the person in the line next to you. Ask them how they're doing, if they're having a good day, and is there anything that you can do to bless them? Don't try to sell them. Just love them. What if we just love the person next to us, and through that love, we created a relationship, and through that relationship, we were able to bless them with our knowledge, our wisdom, and our experience? Yes. What if we just loved them instead of trying to sell them? What if? But you're it, guys. All right. So, I want to do something just to kind of get us energized. And so I'm going to go through a little bit of a, if you don't know, now you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, if you don't know, and then I want you guys to say, now you know, okay? But I want you to say it with energy, right? As a matter of fact, if everybody would please just get up real quick. It's early, it's the morning, right? All right, so let's practice. You ready? I'm going to say if you don't know, you guys say, now you know. You ready? If you don't know, now you know. All right. One more time. If you don't know, now you know. All right, awesome. So here's my attempt at a joke. If you don't know, penguins get married, or they, have a spouse, and it's forever. Yeah, it's monogamous and it's forever. They keep it one spouse forever. But did you know that when a penguin chooses a mate, they walk up to the mate and they offer them a pebble as a gift? So the penguin literally waddles up and he's like, "What's up, girl? I got a rock." And she says, "Yes." While we humans finance diamonds that take us 30 years to pay off debt. If you don't know, awesome. So did you know that you could, as a business owner, get an SBA 7A loan or a 504 loan to purchase the office or the building that you're doing business out of instead of renting it, and 50% of that property could be rented out to tenants, which could cover your expenses? If you don't know, did you know that as a business owner with your EIN number, you can get access to business credit that can help you finance your business without having to use your personal credit and increase your debt to income ratio? If you don't know, now you know. Last one. Did you know that, let's see, it's a good one. Did you know that with your business credit, there are 3 major business credit bureaus? Everybody's familiar with the personal credit bureaus, right? All right. With the business credit, it's Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax, and there's others, right? But with that business credit, there's another third party called the Small Business Financial Exchange that collects data from those 3, and they create a score that they relay to the government called the SBSS score. The SBSS score, if you're trying to get approved for a loan up to $500,000 on an SBA loan, you have to have an SBSS score. If that SBSS score is under 170, you could have really good, great personal credit, great tax returns and finances, but you're not going to get approved for that loan because you don't have an SBSS score. If you don't know, now you know. All right. Did you know that same SBSS score is going to be required for you to get a true business line of credit through a brick and mortar bank that's going to give you an open-ended business line of credit with interest rates between 8 to 12%, which in the business realm for a line of credit that's open-ended is very, very good. If you didn't know, now you know. You guys can have a seat. Thank you. So listen, I kind of took a lot more time going through what I think I was supposed to talk about, but as a business owner, you can get access to a startup SBA loan, whether you are looking to start a brand new business as an independent startup, whether you're looking to buy an existing business, that's business acquisition, or if you're looking to start a franchise, right? And one of the things that I want you guys to do here today, because all of us are entrepreneurs, right? Yes? Everybody here an entrepreneur? Yeah? How many of you have clients that are entrepreneurs? Everybody have a client that might be an entrepreneur? Okay. So I want you to think about what I'm sharing with you, not just for yourself, but for your clients. Because one of our goals, right, is to add value to our clients and to help them on their journey. And there's products on the market, and there are boiler room operations that if you're not the one educating them, they're going to get caught in what I like to call the business finance world IUL, right? And it's called a merchant cash advance. A merchant cash advance, an MCA, is what it's called. If you get a phone call and that person on the line is telling you your credit doesn't matter, they just need to see 3 to 6 months bank statements, run, okay? Because what's going to happen is they're going to tell you that there's no interest rate, and it's Easy payment. You're not even going to feel it. It's going to come out daily or weekly. And it's not an interest rate, it's a factor rate. This factor rate's 1.25, 1.45. When you do the math, guys, that's 25% up to 50% interest on between 3 to 8 month terms. So if you renew that, you're paying 100% interest in 1 year. This is the most sold loan in the market today. More business owners are getting this and they're defaulting on their debt. They cannot afford it because guess what happens? They put a UCC filing on your business. And once that happens, you're in trouble because nobody's going to want to fund you. So you get stacked and you get stacked and you get stacked. So my time is wrapping up. So I wanted to tell you guys, just to be aware of that. On your desk there, on your table is my business card with the QR code. If you guys go there and you scan that, there you go. What I'm giving you guys here today is access to my credibility instructions, which is part of my coaching and my course. I'm giving it as a gift to everybody here today. And this is basically step-by-step on how to get your business set up so it's credible in the eyes of the banks and lenders. This is step one, literally business credit 101, okay? At the end of that page on that QR code that's going to lead you to is 3 or 4 vendor accounts that you can quickly set up to get yourself set up with a Paydex score with Dun & Bradstreet, an Intelli score with Experian, and a risk score with Equifax. This is the basic minimum business credit that you need to have so that you can get that SBSS score so you can qualify for that SBA loan or that business line of credit instead of getting that merchant cash advance and putting yourself in jeopardy. So with that said, guys, I am the approved guy, Sebastien Boyer. If you don't know,
And if you don't know, now you know. And if you don't know, now you know.
Get up here, get your butt up here.